Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 6th of January 2019. We're going to reflect on Matthew 2, 1 to 12, another long one. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet, and you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. The Gospel of the Lord. King Herod was a powerful man who ruled for about 40 years. He had many things in common with powerful men in the world today. One was a preoccupation with power. He sought absolute control, demanding unconditional obedience from his subjects. He catapulted into power by value of three qualities that he possessed: clarity of vision, a cunningness, and an extremely cruel disposition. Herod knew what he wanted and was prepared to do whatever it took to achieve it. When he was only 25 years old, he became governor of Galilee, using a combination of influence and political maneuvering, and then rapidly rose to become king. A master manipulator, he used situations and people to achieve what he wanted. As an example, he had 10 marriages, and 7 of them were to women who could influence decisions. And he didn't hesitate to use lethal force against those who stood against him. His rise to power came about by the total annihilation of the guerrillas that threatened him. Second was a desire for possessions. He constructed 7 luxurious palaces for himself and filled them with every object of desire that one could think of. These included some very beautiful women. Third was a desire for prestige. He wanted to be recognized as somebody great, which is why he was known as King Herod the Great, a title he probably gave himself. He did many things for people, but only with the objective of being praised. He didn't really care for his subjects. And the fourth thing that characterized him was a deep sense of paranoia. His father was poisoned, and ever since that happened, he thought that everyone in the kingdom was out to get him. And presumably quite a few people were, which is why he lived his life in terror. He made sure that he had people taste his food before he touched his lips. He had spies all over the country, and he regularly put those he thought were his enemies to death. And quite naturally, therefore, when he heard about the birth of someone who was born King of the Jews, he was terrified that he would face a challenger for the title. Now contrast Jesus, a born king, with Herod. How did he deal with these 4 things that obsess the kings of the world: power, possessions, prestige, and paranoia? And here's the reflection for us today. Which king are we more like? That's the king we follow. Think about it. God bless you.